Hi, I'm Tom Kenny. Welcome to the MUFIC channel. I'd like to introduce to you this morning the Musical Fiction Alliance of America Songwriter of the Month for February 2023, Jon Hanks.
I see, Mr. Tom.
Well, John, let me just ask a few impromptu questions about you and your life and your music. How long have you been playing music?
Well, first of all, do we have that kind of time? No, I've been playing music consistently since I was 17. I always had a guitar. My dad's a super talented musician and singer, and but I never really picked it up. I didn't have any kind of what I felt like was natural talent, so I kind of left it on a hanger. It looked good on the wall for a lot of years, and then finally one day I saw a kid play that was about my age. After that, I was hooked. I had to go figure it out. So
There was music in your house. You came from a musical family.
Yes.
And it was right there for you, waiting for you to come upon the time to pick it up.
Very much so.
Yeah.
To find the interest. So
And you write, what in your performances, what percentage of the songs that you do would be your original stuff?
I normally do 2 a set, roughly, because I play a lot of venues that do require a lot of covers. So I work them in and try to use tempo and wherever I'm at in that set list to work my stuff in and keep people engaged. That way they start listening before they realize that it's not something they particularly know to sing along to, but they can sing along to. So
Yeah.
yeah.
When you write a song, does the music come first or do the words come first?
It depends. I've written songs where I had this melody just stuck in my head for weeks and weeks and then finally put words to it. Then I've been riding down the road with a voice memo and just talking into a voice memo and written an entire song and got back and figured out the music to it. So it's very situational. I don't pass up inspiration time, whether I'm asleep, wake up randomly, or traveling down the road. So I don't have a real structure for songwriting.
Do you keep a pad by your bed in case you wake up with an idea?
I use the notes on my phone. I have probably 800 and something notes on there that are, some of them are full songs, some of them are paragraphs or sentences or just one line that I say I'm going to come back to later. Sometimes I don't get back to them, but that's details. So we'll get there one day.
Have you written a song that moved you to the point where it actually moved you to tears? It came from deep inside you like that?
I have, and unfortunately, I don't play that song like I should. I actually pitched it to a small label, and they were very interested in taking the song. They had an artist that needed that kind of song, and I did. It was written during the COVID time, and it was just kind of a song about being alone, and it just hit home in terms of it ended up being a song about a girl, but aren't all good ones, I guess. But yeah, it ended up just having way more layers than I expected it to when I started writing it. It was just one of those songs that I felt hit me a little better than some of the other ones I've written.
I think those are the best kind, come from inside you. Do you ever sit down and go, I'm going to write a song about a camera? Or do you wait for it to come out of you and go, this needs to be written down?
So I have this need to, I feel like I should be writing if I don't in a week, but it never works out that way. Sometimes I'll sit down and write a verse about something as simple and silly, just to kind of get that mindset going and structuring a song. But it never turns out to be a good song. It's one of those you use as lighter for a fire later. So I can't say I do. It has to be that moment where I wake up and say, oh, this is a song, or I say something, or somebody else says something, or read something, and I say, this is going to be a song, and then that inspiration strikes. But I can't really just point at something and write unless I'm just doing it to keep from being rusty.
Have you written a song, or in trying to write a song, have you ended up writing about something else other than what you intended to write about, and then hours or days later has that idea popped back into your head and another song is born? Have you done that?
I would say that I probably have 15 songs that the Word document on the computer when I started writing it was a verse and a chorus of a song. And then from that, an actual whole song came out, and I've never used that first verse and chorus. So it happens more than I expect it to sometimes, but I don't shut it down because I know that I can either use a line out of that first part or just go wherever the mind's taking you at that point, and don't focus so much on what you were trying to force to begin with, because typically once it starts rolling, no matter if it's the song intended, it's a better song. So
I think a lot of us have that half a song file where you got a couple of good lines, and whether you use them or not,
yes,
you've got that file of that notebook, or as you say on your computer, they're your words and you've got them almost like in storage.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, there's no doubt, because I've got those lines that I'm like, I have to use that line. I just don't know where yet. So I agree completely.
What do you like best about your music as compared to other things that you do, other artists that you cover? What do you like best about your music?
Well, I know as a talented musician as you are, you understand that we don't like anything about our music. We just feel a need to write it and hope somebody else cares. But it's hard. It's hard to love your own stuff sometimes. And I think that's what makes musicians never settle. And that leads to better music. But I find it difficult to really enjoy it. I think the one thing I like is hiding little innuendos in a song where nobody gets it until maybe the 10th time they listen to it. I had some guys working on some of my stuff I plan on putting on an album, and they would call me and they're like, we played it 100 times. We just caught this line and we realized that line is serving more than one purpose. I'm like, yeah. I said, look back at the song. There's probably 3 or 4 in there. And so that's the one part I do enjoy, is hiding those little snippets in a song and having people figure it out months later what exactly you meant by that. So that's what I enjoy about it.
I understand that. I try to do that, and as you said, of course, a lot of times as songwriters, we all go, well, that doesn't mean anything. That's too shallow. It's just la la la. Oh baby, ooh baby. You don't want to think of your stuff like that, but sometimes you just go, that's just not what I want to say.
Yeah. Yeah, you feel like you're not getting below the surface, and you feel, because you hear these songs that people write and they have so much depth, it seems like. But I love some of the simple ones. I mean, Alan Jackson is one of my favorite at delivering a simple song and with the easiest of ideas. But then when you hear it all together, it's a better song than people give it credit for on surface value, if you will. So yeah, I do enjoy that.
I think that one of the marks of a good song is when you hear it. So if you like somebody like Alan Jackson, you go, gosh, I could have written that. That's sort of like me. And I think that what makes a great song, with the fact that you can identify with the words and the spirit and the idea of that song.
Or how many times you get insulted because you're like, I had that same idea and just put it on that notepad and never finish that song. It's a half-finished song, but it's the same premise. And that always is like, man, I had it. You never wrote it. So I get that.
Other than your dad, who I'm very envious of you in that situation. My parents loved music. It's mostly church music and stuff, but neither one of them were writers. And I think that's a great scenario for your music, with that influence right under your roof every day. Who are your other influences?
Yeah, it was a great way to grow up. Other than him being so dang good, that was the problem. It definitely makes you a little self-conscious about your music. But yeah, so otherwise, I mean, everybody's gonna say it, but it's true. Johnny Cash. I have like generational influence, if you will. Johnny Cash, and then came Waylon and Merle Haggard, and I just love the storytelling. That's what I love, their storytelling. And Johnny Cash has that lackadaisical in some of his songs where it's just whatever he was thinking at the moment, you can tell, and it just flows and it's effortless. And your thought as a listener, and also probably for him as a writer, because he was so talented at putting those kind of things together. So I love that simplicity while also having hit you with a song that could change the world, if you will. And then Merle Haggard, one of the best storytellers, simply. And then in that, Keith Whitley, then crossing into the 90s, and the list goes so far. George Strait and Alan Jackson. I know George Strait was early 80s when he first came out, but those were the years that I remember because I was growing up in the 90s. So those guys, Clint Black and Mark Chestnut, I mean, the list can go on and on.
But you've been pretty much country all the way.
I've been pretty much. My dad's a huge James Taylor, Fleetwood Mac, Bob Seger, those folks. But to me, they're just barely outside of that realm of the box that we grew up in, which was pretty much down the middle country. And old hymns lived next door to my grandparents. So it was always Gaithers and all that on the TV. So we sat around and sang those together, and then going to church with Granny. And at that time, neither one of us can see me or Granny, but we still gave a good effort. So we had a good time. It was a good way to grow up, that's for sure.
It sure sounds like it. What are you going to do for us today? Which one of your songs are we going to do?
Dude, I'm still trying to decide here. I think we're going to do one called "Without You." It's got some blues opportunity. I hear you're playing on it with me, so we'll
If you like.
Yeah, I would love to. So we'll see what we can do with that. And it's a song about a girl. It's a breakup song. It was a relationship that I knew wasn't going to last forever, but she was a crazy good person, just not my person. So I just wrote a song about, kind of going off the rails, if you will, after that for a little while, and just trying to get back on track and not being that same person without the other person. So yeah, it's one that I like a whole lot, but you'll definitely see it's simple. It's got those same simple characteristics. It's not a complicated song, but it's one that I really enjoyed and loved writing.
Looking forward to playing this morning with you. And of course, our first chair, Karen Egan, will be here on strings.
I'd love to hear that.
It'll be wonderful. She never disappoints. And Jon, thank you very much for sitting down with us this morning.
MUFIC, Mr. Tom, I appreciate your time. Pleasure to be here. Thank y'all. I'm a runaway train, and I'm a truck, no brakes. I'm a ninja stalled out on an airplane at 30,000 feet. Yeah, that's me without you. Well, I'm a Gibson, no strings, a Van Gogh, no pain, a writer, no pen, with a best-selling idea on my brain. And that's me without you. Well, I thought it would be easy to let you walk away, but when you can't get nothing right, you wonder if you got it all wrong. My pride's too strong, my head's too stubborn to call you on the phone, tell you that I love you. So I'll be me without you. Course, no verse, melody, no words. One good line, next one don't rhyme, and the hook's the worst. Yeah, that's me without you. Well, I thought it would be easy to let you walk away, but when you can't get nothing right, you wonder if you got it all wrong. Well, my pride's too strong, my head's too stubborn to call you on the phone, tell you that I love you. So I'll be me without you. Oh, baby, that's me without you. I'm a runaway train, and I'm a truck, no brakes. Right. Thank y'all. Y'all pretty awesome, you know.
That was
Let's start a band.
That was a one take.
MUFIC sets you free.